Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everyone. I probably don't have to say this, but I'm going to do it as a reminder. Sleep is essential to optimal health. It really is. Studies every single couple of months come out that reinforce that. But many of us don't sleep well. Some of us deal with sleep apnea, and there's many different ways to remedy that. Appliances, CPAP machines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Have you ever thought about acupuncture? Yep. We're going to talk about that today. She is our professional of the year. She's got a acupuncture and Chinese medicine practice in New York City, and it's so great to have Dr. Kelly back on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Steve. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. And once again, every time we get together, I say, I had no idea that acupuncture can help somebody with this being this time sleep challenges. So when we dig into sleep apnea, do you work with people who have been diagnosed with that, or could it be somebody just not sleeping well and they may suspect that they might have sleep apnea?
Actually, I do have patients who were diagnosed sleep apnea. And so at the beginning, like you mentioned, they had the CPAP machine.
Hmm.
One of my patients said, Dr. Kelly is horrible. That machine is like basically like an elephant. The machine has a tube. You have to put on your
Yes.
face or something. She said it's horrible. So, they also now they have a new treatment, like you can have a braces kind of put in your mouth, kind of like open your mouth so you don't totally, close. In that way, when you sleep, you are not so worried about, you're gonna lose breath or something. But of course, people also, seeking acupuncture treatment to help about the sleep apnea. And I have been treating them for a while, and they said is, help them.
So let's dig into that. Just to refresh everyone, sleep apnea is essentially, I'm going to try and describe this right, where you stop breathing for a short period of time during your sleep cycle, right?
Yeah, and it's like a repeat. Like, you kind of like sleep, then you suddenly like, you stop breathing. Then, after maybe a few seconds, you wake up. But then it's repeat, the pattern repeat. So it's gonna bother your sleep. You're not gonna have good sleep because of that. So a lot of patients feel very fatigued and tired after sleep. They don't have energy to go for daily function because of sleep. And the great thing is acupuncture can treat all of this.
What's going on there in terms of how you, because now this sound sleep apnea is really more of a best description from a layperson, but it's mechanical, where what's going on there is the tongue is in a certain position, as I understand it. It's not like you have shoulder pain, which there could be, blood issues, stagnant blood, and things like that. So I'm intrigued how acupuncture can support sleep apnea. Can you tell us?
Yes, yes, that's a great question. Yeah, a lot of people may wonder like how acupuncture treats sleep apnea. So in general, sleep apnea, like Steve just mentioned, right? One type of sleep apnea is like people kind of have their airway obstruct, kind of like obstruction in their airway. Could be like, the tongue is too big, or the muscle is kind of like a little bit weak. So kind of like block the airway. So that's why people kind of like, waking up because they couldn't breathe. So in Chinese medicine, we have different type of different pattern for sleep apnea. Like one pattern is we call it phlegm damp because when people have kind of like phlegm and damp kind of obstruct the airway. So that's one of the Chinese medicine pattern. The other way can be, the muscle is too weak. When the muscle is too weak, the muscle who control the breathing is too weak. That can also blocking the airway. So doesn't matter each pattern, we can target the root and treat it.
Wow. Um, I'm still intrigued here. Where do you find the meridians? Where do you put the acupuncture needles in? Tell us about the procedure. And does it vary for somebody with sleep apnea?
Yes. So for example, if the pattern is because, the phlegm damp obstruction, or even the muscle too weak, we're gonna root back to spleen again because in Chinese medicine, spleen control the muscle. And the spleen also the function like TNT, transformation and transportation. When spleen is weak, people can have the phlegm dam accumulation in their, airway that can also cause the sleep apnea. So in that way, we just go back to treat the root of the spleen. So we tonify the spleen. When the spleen is strong enough, you're not gonna have the phlegm damp accumulation and your muscle will be stronger. Doesn't matter the muscle is in the mouth, in the tongue, or or in the throat. It is the spleen. So we tonify the spleen stronger, then you're gonna have less phlegm damp accumulation. Your muscle gonna be stronger. In that way, your sleep will be better.
So by putting the acupuncture needle in, you're helping to make the muscle stronger?
One of the function is make the muscle stronger. That's
Gotcha.
only one function.
Wow. So does it vary between person to person? So let's say somebody has a certain level of sleep apnea. Maybe they're using the CPAP machine. My best friend uses one. He's still using it. He's got to. And now you have the next person. Maybe they're not using it, but maybe they have an appliance. There's certain things that orthodontics and dentists can supply you with, or sleep apnea experts. Is it all the same? Doesn't matter whether it's severe or not. The treatment through acupuncture would be the same.
Well, at the beginning, if people already get used to use the CPAP or the braces, doesn't matter which way, I wouldn't let the patient stop right away. I will suggest patient continue using it. At the meantime, I treat them with acupuncture, maybe some herbs even. So if they feel better, maybe they can gradually reduce the frequency of using, the appliance.
Hmm. Okay, so let's pivot over to people that just have challenges sleeping. It's not sleep apnea, or at least hasn't been diagnosed. Can you help them as well?
Oh yeah. So actually, I have a lot of patients that came in. For example, mainly chief complaint is not even sleep because I mean sleep is important. Everybody knows that. But actually, majority of people came in for something else. But when I talk with them, I found out they have a sleep problem. So I usually treat the chief complaint. Then they reported that sleep got better. So it's kind of like side effect.
Wow. Um, is there anything that acupuncture ha cannot help? I mean, and we've identified so many things in these podcasts that it supports. Is there something that you would say, yeah, actually that can't help you with that when it comes to acupuncture? Is there anything?
Um, I mean, majority of the patients come to me, for example, for the pain, right? Yesterday, I got a 78 years old lady. She said she has been having the severe low back pain for 3 days. She couldn't go to anywhere, had to lie down on the bed. And it's so painful she couldn't even put on her socks.
Oh,
So she came in, she walked like really, really slow. After I treated her, she got back. She walks so much faster. I'm like, she said, I don't feel any pain. But of course, I will ask her to come back again because even she doesn't feel any pain after treatment, but because the pain is so severe, I will, do like another follow-up at least to, really make sure the pain is totally gone. Um, I mean, people coming for fertility, I have been helping a lot of people who got babies. People who come in for like even dizziness, also got better. Migraine got better. Um, so very rare case, acupuncture cannot help people at all.
Wow. So for that woman that came in, that she was challenged with the foot pain, did you ever determine what it was?
Um, Sorry, it's a low back pain.
Oh, I'm sorry, lower back pain.
Low back
Um,
pain.
you know what it
So
was? Because I was thinking she could put it on her socks. Um,
yeah, yeah, very good question actually still because she asked me the same thing. She said, I had the low back pain 20 years ago.
hmm,
After that, I didn't have it until 3 days ago. And the pain is getting worse and worse every day. So she said, why? So actually, when I checked her tongue and pulse, I figured out her tongue has some crack, which also the color is pale, which an indication of blood deficiency. And her face also kind of like pale also. She said, but my blood worker is fine. I said, don't just totally trust the blood work because the blood work or even other test, there is kind of like an average number for like all the people.
yes.
But everyone is different. That number can be okay to somebody else, but may not be okay on this person. So that's why I said even the blood work said you're okay doesn't mean you're totally okay because you can tell her face is pale and her tongue is pale and it's very dry, has like really deep crack.
Hmm.
And so that blood deficiency can make the muscle pain because the blood cannot really nourish the muscle. So because she didn't do anything, like she didn't like lifting anything heavy. She didn't do anything. She said just out of nowhere, the pain came on and it's getting worse and worse. Also from her tongue and pulse, I figured out her kidney also is kind of like weak. Like when there indentation on the back of the tongue, that's a sign of kidney deficiency. In Chinese medicine, kidney control the bone. Like when people have lower back pain or knee pain, usually it means people have kidney deficiency. So I said, so because she is, not a young animal, she's 78, almost 79. So, and all her signs telling me she had blood deficiency, she has kidney deficiency. So of course we need to treat the branch, which is lower back pain right now, but the root is still tonify the blood, move the blood, get rid of blood stasis and tonify the kidney.
Have you ever, just to challenge yourself, Dr. Kelly, you look at somebody, you look at their tongue, check their pulse, and you think, all right, we might have a kidney issue. It could be liver, whatever it might be. And then they do labs, and the labs come back, and the reading is off. Like, and as you said before, it's there's the guideline. There's a certain window, and if you're above or below it, then it throws up a red, literally a red flag to show you that. Have you, just tested yourself when people come back with labs to see that, yeah, you were right again? I'm just kind of curious.
Actually, I don't think I never really done that because first I don't really use the tool of the lab test at all. Although some patients do bring their test to show me the numbers, and I also look at it. But at the meantime, I do explain to them Chinese medicine and Western medicine have different definition about a lot of terms. So this number not really mean something to me as the same in Western
Gotcha.
medicine term. Yeah, so we basically trust the tongue, trust the pulse, trust all the answers and from the observation. That's more we trust than the blood test or X-ray or MRI.
So what I'm getting from you is it's almost like, to use the cliche or the analogy, it's apples to oranges. That those labs doesn't really mean much to you because you don't adhere to what the window is. That might not tell the full story. But as always, I'm intrigued that you can get the story by looking at somebody's tongue and checking their pulse. I find that I am still fascinated. And that's what you do when you first meet a patient. But this is the same thing that's been going on for hundreds of years. It's amazing.
Yes, yes. And I found out this is more reliable than the test. So because we are looking at the real person, right? We are looking at person's face, we're looking at their tongue, checking their pulse. This is the real number instead of the test. So that's why I kind of like telling my patient don't too much rely on like I have patients who has pain, did surgery, then after maybe just only a few months, the pain came back. Then she said, Dr. Kelly, I did MRI. It said I'm fine. There's nothing wrong. I said, don't listen to the MRI. You are having pain again. The MRI saying you are fine. No, you are not fine.
So, serious question coming here, and it's out of much curiosity. Have you ever had somebody come before you? You did your normal analysis, looking at the tongue, the pulse, everything else, and detected something very serious in them where you said, you really need to have this checked out. This could be a serious situation. Has that ever happened and it got validated? Let's say they went to Western medicine tests and it came back as something major.
Um, hmm. Well, I usually actually it's opposite. Usually it's opposite. Like for example, people who got cancer, then come to me, want me treat them because all the cancer treatment is make them feel horrible. And majority of the people who came to me, they usually kind of like have a Western medicine diagnosis already, like either cancer or
Okay.
whatever.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. Hmm. Yeah, so they already know what they have,
yeah,
be it cancer, so they're looking for maybe some relief from that, or
yeah.
maybe it's so what about this? Um, Somebody has cancer, chemo, radiation, maybe they're going through those treatments. They have side effects from that. Can you support them?
Oh, that is for sure. I have a lot of patients like who got the cancer, then they did the chemotherapy, radiation, then it's horrible. Like they cannot sleep, they cannot eat, they can't go to the bathroom, they feel the pain. Acupuncture can help them a lot. I had a patient, they live upstate actually. They just came to the city for the treatment. But the treatment make the patient just feel like very, very bad.
Sure.
Couldn't do anything, couldn't function at all. So then he came to my office. I treated him, and he felt so great. He even drove back several hours, from the city back to Albany, which he couldn't even imagine before, because his doctor told him he had to have a pee bag because he couldn't use the bathroom. So acupuncture is very helpful to support all the cancer treatment.
Amazing. On the sleep apnea side, what else? Anything else that we're not hitting here that you can share?
Um, so also, one thing I keep telling my patients, please stop drinking cold water. Please stop eating cold food. Because the cold things, think about in Western medicine way. All the enzymes in our body have their optimum temperature, which is close to our body temperature. When you put ice cold water in your body, you are lower down the enzyme's temperature. So your enzyme cannot really digest the food. So you are eating food for nutrition. But if the enzyme cannot digest the food, you cannot use the nutrition. So your body will not be nourished. In that way, you're not gonna have enough, like let's say blood, right? Or you may have like bloating or gassing. Actually, I have a lot of patients, especially Americans. I asked them, do you have bloating or gassing? They said yes. Why?
Wow.
Because Americans like ice cold water.
Wow. I have to be honest with you. Every time I'm faced with consuming something that's cold, I feel guilty now.
Good.
I think of you. And this morning was one of those times. I was in a rush, needed to grab something quick, had yogurt in there. What's yogurt? It's cold. And I'm like putting a spoon in. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not. And what am I going to do? Put it in the microwave for, maybe I can warm it a little bit. But certainly I try to warm up everything based on what you said. And I look at it this way, why not? Everything you've told us in regard to, consuming cold things, makes perfect sense. Why would you? And it takes a little bit of habit changing. We're so used to cold beverages. Now I don't seek them out. I drink water that's warm. I even have cans of seltzer in my garage now that it's cold out. Now it's making it cold, so I bring it inside. I'm used to it now. But I think that's what it comes down to. You just need to get in the habit of not having that stuff. And certainly the food, a little bit of a challenge there, in terms of warming it up. But on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being it is in Chinese medicine, fundamental, one of the most important things you can do to ensure better health. 10, like it's way up there on the scale of consuming things that are warm. Where would you put it in your opinion?
At least 8 or 9.
Okay. Very important. Wow.
Because I know a lot of young girls, they like to drink ice cold water every day.
Yeah.
I warn them, you may have menstrual cramp. They don't listen. One day they came to me and said, I have menstrual cramp. I said, I told you don't drink ice cold water. But they don't listen until they bump their head onto the wall.
Hmm. And it almost seems like, well, logically thinking, if it's cold, by the time it gets down there, it's going to warm it up anyway. My body can, I eat anything and my body's fine with it. No, you need to support your body, this being one of them. Just amazing. We always learn something here with you, Dr. Kelly. Best way to find you, whether it's in New York City for acupuncture or even somebody that wants some consultation virtually, Kelly121acupuncture.com. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Interesting. Again, sleep apnea, if you're dealing with it, reach out, learn some more about acupuncture and how it can support. Thank you again for bringing this to our attention and being here on the show today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, we'll talk soon. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.